Hollow Creek, where time remembers you and shadows never let gom. Marcus had always considered himself a rational man. Fear was something he controlled, a story to feel alive. Hollow Creek proved him wrong. The first sign came at sunset. The road twisted unnaturally, bending back on itself like a loop, lined by ancient trees leaning inward as if warning him away. GPS failed. Phone had no signal, gas tank nearly empty. Still, he pressed forward. And then he saw it. Welcome to Hollow Creek. The air changed. Cold pressed into his chest. Not outside. Inside. Heavy. Suffocating. The car engine died. Key wouldn't turn. Gravel whispered under his boots, soft crunching like a heartbeat that was not his own. The town looked normal at first glance. Crooked houses, peeling paint, a crooked church steeple, a diner with a flickering neon sign. But silence ruled. No wind, no birds, no sound at all. Inside the diner, the air smelled of stale coffee and damp wood. Behind the counter, a gray-haired waitress stared at him. "You're late," she said. The smile stretched unnaturally wide. Teeth sharp. The booth held frozen figures. A woman held a coffee cup mid-sip. A man stared at a blank newspaper. They all turned toward him, waiting. The clock tower struck once. Vibrations pressed against his chest. "Don't let it reach midnight," the waitress said. "That's when you stay." Marcus ran. Streets twisted beneath him. Buildings leaned inward. Windows became eyes. Doors, mouths. Shadows reached for him, curling like black smoke. A small girl appeared, holding a faint blue lantern, walking backward without breaking eye contact. "Follow the lights," she whispered. "They'll show you the way to yourself." The town warped around him. Doors appeared that led into memories he had buried, failures, regrets, lies. Hollow Creek didn't just watch, it remembered. At the church on the edge of town, doors carved with screaming faces awaited. Inside, a massive clock dominated the wall. Hands spun backward, forward, then stopped. At 2:17, chimes began, soft, then booming. Shadows lunged. Walls leaned inward. Pews pressed against him. A mirror reflected Hollow Creek alive, breathing. Marcus saw himself walking streets he had never entered, waving at townsfolk long gone. Shadows twisted around their legs. He reached for the mirror. It pulled him in. Limbs twisted, screams echoed. The world collapsed into a void of billions of ticking clocks. Silence fell. Then voices returned. "Marcus." He opened his eyes. Diner. Frozen streets, townsfolk staring. His own face smiled back with too many teeth. His shadow lunged, merging. He was part of the town now, part of the clocks, part of the street stretching forever. Marcus awoke on a street corner. Sky frozen. Time meaningless. Minutes could last a week. Days, mere seconds. The clock tower struck 2:17. Shadows lunged. Buildings twisted and curled. Cobblestones shifted like veins. He met others trapped. A boy repeating routines for decades. A woman merged into walls, whispering warnings. A man who had forgotten his own name, wandering like a shadow. Every movement Marcus made, the town adapted. Each breath, each hesitation, weaponized against him. Inside a house, mirrors lined walls, reflecting versions of himself at every age, each whispering, "We remember. We see you. You are ours." Corridors twisted endlessly. Floors collapsed into shadow-filled basements. A massive clock pointed to midnight. Shadows pulled at him. Marcus learned to move silently, avoiding clocks, lights, speaking aloud. Yet Hollow Creek adapted. Streets shifted. Shadows stretched. Buildings shrank and grew. He discovered the library. Blank books projected memories. Failures, lies, regrets. The town recorded him into its story. At 2:17, the clock tower struck. Shadows lunged, souls froze. Marcus moved silently, following whispers of the trapped longest. Hollow Creek was alive, feeding on time, memory, fear. He reached the edge of town, or thought he did. A road appeared. Could it be escape? He ran. Road stretched into infinity. Forest swallowed him. Clock tower loomed. Midnight approached. Shadows lunged. Whispers grew. Marcus understood the rules. Never look at clocks. Never follow lights uninvited. Never speak unless you want the town to record you. He moved like a ghost. Streets became rivers of blackness. Mirrors reflected multiple versions of himself. Town warped constantly. Shadows lunged. Whispers began. He realized Hollow Creek wasn't just a town. It was a sentient organism, eternal, patient, feeding on souls. Marcus discovered the center, the clock tower. Hundreds of clocks ticked in unison. Trapped souls, new arrivals, old, twisted into the town. Clocks pulsed with his heartbeat. Shadows whispered regrets. He survived by fractions. Midnight struck. Town exhaled. Shadows receded. For now, Marcus learned endurance. Hollow Creek was infinite. Streets twisted endlessly. Shadows moved like liquid. Buildings breathed. Townsfolk repeated loops. Clocks ticked at 2:17 in midnight. Every new arrival fed the town. Every shadow, memory, collected. Marcus realized escape was nearly impossible. The edge, a faint road, appeared. Could it be freedom or another trap? The town waits for the next traveler. Clocks tick, shadows shift, memories stretch, whispers begin. Welcome home. Marcus had survived 6 nights. Hollow Creek learned him more each night. Every visitor became part of its story. Time remembered. Shadows never let go. Marcus found the diner again. But it was different. The figures were alive now, moving just enough to seem human, but their faces blurred, replaced with his own memories. "You can leave," said the waitress, "but only if you remember what we show you." Each night became more twisted. The buildings grew taller than the sky. The streets twisted like rivers. Shadows followed, whispered, and threatened. Marcus began losing track of his past, unsure what was real. He saw his childhood home reflected in a puddle that was not water. His father's voice called from a dark alley, beckoning. He ran. Shadows lunged. The clock tower struck. 2:17, 3:03, midnight. All at once, Marcus realized the clocks had no fixed time anymore. Time was a trap, a weapon. Marcus discovered more trapped souls, dozens, hundreds, all trying to hide from the town. He tried to communicate. Most could not speak. Some had gone mad. The town forced them into repeating mistakes, endless loops, horrifying cycles of regret. Marcus understood. The town did not just trap you. It rewrote you. It consumed you. It became you. A shadow lunged from a corner and whispered his deepest secret aloud, one he had never told another soul. The other trapped residents shrank away in horror. Marcus realized he had no privacy here, no safety, no refuge. Marcus tried to map the town in his mind. Streets shifted under him. Doors appeared where none existed. Rooms stretched into infinity. Mirrors reflected hundreds of him. He could hear his own voice whispering secrets he didn't remember telling. The clock tower loomed larger each night. Its hands no longer measured time. They measured fear. He realized he had been running in circles. The town wanted him to arrive at the tower, to become part of it, to merge with the clocks. He hid in abandoned houses, in alleyways, in mirrors. Shadows followed. They didn't need to speak. They knew him already. Marcus arrived at the tower again. Hundreds of clocks ticked in rhythm with his heartbeat. Shadows formed into people he had known, twisted and staring. "Join us," they whispered. "It is easy. You belong here." Marcus felt himself faltering. He realized he was no longer fully himself. The town had learned him, rewritten him, taken fragments of his soul. Yet some spark remained, his desire to survive. He ran into the basement of the clock tower. The clock spun wildly. Shadows lunged. He smashed mirrors, shattering fragments of memories into darkness. The tower shook. Midnight struck. The town exhaled. The clock stopped. Shadows dissolved. Marcus ran outside. The streets began to shift, rearranging again. The exit road appeared, but it was faint, barely visible. Marcus ran toward it, heart pounding. Forrest reached out, streets twisted around him, but he did not stop. He crossed the threshold. Outside Hollow Creek, the night was silent. He was free, but not entirely. Even miles away, he could hear a faint ticking, a whisper brushing his ear. Welcome home, Hollow Creek remembered. Shadows never let go. Time was eternal. And the next traveler would arrive soon.